Before World War II, the Chamorro people of Guam lived under American administration. While they did not have full U.S. citizenship, they had growing freedoms, education, employment, and a connection to the outside world. But on December 8, 1941, those freedoms were taken away. Within hours of the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japan invaded Guam. Outnumbered and unprepared, the U.S. surrendered in just 2 days. The Chamorro people, abandoned by their American protectors, now faced a brutal occupation. Their civil rights were stripped away overnight. Under Japanese rule, the Chamorro people were no longer free. They were forced to bow to their occupiers, speak Japanese, and abandon their way of life. Any act of disobedience was met with harsh punishment. One of the first things the Japanese did was take control of education. Schools were shut down, replaced with lessons in Japanese history and language. Speaking English was banned, and American books were destroyed. Chamorro culture was systematically erased. American symbols and traditions were outlawed, and families were forced to pledge loyalty to Japan. Under occupation, Chamorro men, women, and children were forced into labor. They built airstrips, carried supplies, and worked under harsh conditions, all for the Japanese war effort. With resources taken for the military, food became scarce. Many Chamorros starved, surviving only on roots and scraps.
Hey, yo!
Despite the dangers, some Chamorros resisted it. Families secretly aided stranded American soldiers, while others spread information in hushed whispers. These acts of defiance were punishable by death, yet many risked their lives for the hope of freedom. Anyone caught resisting was brutally punished. Beatings, imprisonment, and executions were common. Still, the Chamorro people never lost hope. As the war turned against Japan, the occupation became even more brutal. In July 1944, Chamorro civilians were forced on a death march. Thousands were held in harsh conditions with little food or shelter. Massacres increased, entire families were executed, and villages were burned. The Chamorro people suffered deeply, but their resilience never wavered. On July 21, 1944, American forces returned. After weeks of heavy fighting, Guam was liberated. The Chamorro people were finally free, but the scars of war remained. The Japanese occupation of Guam was one of the darkest times in Chamorro history, but it also proved their resilience. Their civil rights has been taken away, but their spirit was never broken. Even today, the Chamorro people continue to fight for recognition, political rights, and self-determination. The story is a reminder that civil rights must always be defended, and that even in the darkest times, hope and resistance can never be silenced.
Is Ellie in the kitchen?
Baby oil in my house, you know it's Diddy time. Baby oil in my house, you know it's Diddy time. Baby oil in my house, baby oil in my house. The Diddy party is on Tuesday. I'm finna pull up in 2 ways. The first, I'm wearing a toupee. The second, I'm wearing nothing to breathe. I'm in a party with 2 different escorts. When I pull up Diddy, call me rep sport. Need to catch my breath, don't do